Yeah. Okay, good morning. Welcome, everyone. I'll call the meeting to order for the Reno County Commission meeting for January 10th. The second item on the agenda is the Pledge of Allegiance, followed by a prayer by Pastor Wayne DeWint of Eastwood Church of Christ.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Pastor.
Thank you for this opportunity to lead you in prayer. Heavenly Father, as we begin this meeting here today, Father, I start with a prayer of gratitude. Father, as we begin, we want to ask for your mercy, your grace to be extended to us. We realize that we are weak, Father, that we are sinful, and that we fail. So we ask for your forgiveness. I pray we would have a spirit of forgiveness to those who sin against us as well. Father, I want to pray for these Reno County commissioners. I pray that they are your servant leaders, that you have called them for a time such as this. I ask for your blessing to be upon their families, their health, their prosperity, their spiritual and relational success. Father, I'm asking that you would give them a spirit of wisdom to make good and right and fair and just decisions and plans going forward. Father, help us to make their job a joy and not a burden as they serve us and people of this county. Father, I also want to pray for those that are suffering today. Father, I know of many who have lost loved ones during the holiday season, even at the beginning of this new year. Father, I ask that you would wrap your arms of compassion around them. I'm praying for those that are homeless. Father, those that are hungry, that are struggling with addiction, that are living in poverty, or perhaps are serving overseas in the military. Give us eyes that see. Give us a heart that's full of compassion. And give us a willingness to help and serve and resources to get the job done. Lastly, as we begin this new year, Father, I'm praying for a spirit of optimism and hope and a strong resolve to know you and to listen to the words of your Son, Jesus, who said, seek first his kingdom and his righteousness, and all these things will be given to us as well. It's in Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Thank you. Again, welcome everyone. This time I asked the new county treasurer to come and say hello. Rochelle Calvert is here. Welcome, Rochelle. As most of you know, our current treasurer resigned in midterm, and so Rochelle was appointed for the rest of her term. She was previously the deputy treasurer. So welcome, Rochelle. Just introduce yourself. Tell us what it's like being treasurer for a week and how things are going.
Well, good morning. My name is Rochelle Calvert. I am the new treasurer. I'm very familiar with our office. I've been there for almost 9 years. March 2nd, it will be 9 years. So, the duties of office I'm very comfortable with. There's a lot going on, of course. Right now we have one of our major tax distributions. I've spent like the past week and a half preparing for that, and hopefully in the next few days, by Tuesday, I hope to have that finalized. And that's a big project, and there are many more projects in the works, of course. But I'm looking forward to working with all of you. And
thank you. Anybody have any questions or comments for Rochelle?
We got it for half an hour?
No. She claims to be very busy and wants to leave after this.
Okay, then I'll just say welcome to the position and congratulations.
thank you very much.
Yeah.
Yes, thank you. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
And congratulations.
Congratulations. Thank you for serving the county, and feel free to leave and get back to your duties. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
You bet. Okay, items not on the agenda. Is there any commission have anything? Randy, you have anything? Consent agenda is pretty light this morning. Is there a motion to approve?
I'll move to approve the consent agenda as provided. Move to approve the consent agenda as provided by staff.
Commissioner Hurst moves. Is there a second? By Commissioner Bogner? Okay. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Commissioner Hurst,
Yes. Thanks.
Commissioner Parks,
Yes.
Commissioner Bogner,
Yes.
Commissioner Whitesell,
Yes.
Commissioner Friesen.
Yes. Motion passes 5-0. We'll figure out a better way so you don't have to keep doing that.
You can point to us.
Yeah. Okay, moving on. Register of Deeds is here for her annual report.
Good morning, Commissioners. Michelle Updegrove, Register of Deeds. The report I prepared for you mostly encompasses our 2023 business, our total revenue, percent of the budget that was spent, and also I've included funds for the tech fund that are earmarked for this year, and also kind of gave you an update of where we are at in our digitizing project. We've had it's been a steady year, but it hasn't quite been our busiest year. Normally you'll see about 10,000 documents recorded in a year. Right now last year we're at 8,161. I think a lot of that has to do with the real estate and housing market, mortgages, interest rates being low, not a lot of properties moving. But I think we still did a pretty good year. Right now we're in the process focusing on our new land records management software. It's called Eagle Recorder. It's a Tyler Technologies product. We were set to go live in March, but because of some scheduling conflicts and scheduling issues on Tyler's side, they are moving us to September. So that's when we're scheduled to go live. So until then, we will be giving them and working with them, giving them data, any information they need to build us a software that will be good for our office. As far as the digitizing project goes, we still have a lot more to do. A lot has been scanned. That's great. That's the first part of this project. The second part is indexing all of those documents and attaching a tag to it so they're searchable by name, book and page. That is what we're doing in-house as of now with our part-time gal, Madeline. She's just comes in and trudges through every day and makes a little leeway every day. So, do you have any questions?
Questions? Commissioner Bogner.
In reading over this, something that struck me. We're talking about space issues. If there's a lot of books stored over there and you're going digital, will your space requirements be reduced once you get there, since you don't have all the physical books to keep? Just a question or a thought.
That's something that I ponder probably a little bit every day, is what am I going to do with all these books once we are 100% digital? You know, I'm not comfortable with the idea of just destroying all of those books, because if we're ever in a situation where our information isn't accessible, those books are the only backup. They're hard copy. And our office, our main goal, our main priority is preservation of records. So there are a couple options. I mean, I can store them in underground vaults and storage, where we have a lot of records, hard copy records there now. Of course, you're looking at cost and annual storage fees. Or I think other people have talked about the Kansas Historical Society may be able to house them, or even maybe partnering with the Reno County Museum. You know, I think there's a few avenues still left to look at as far as where these books are going to go. But yeah, I think it's practical to try to reduce some space by storing these books elsewhere. I'm just not quite sure what that looks like yet, but it's something I think about all the time.
Well,
Yeah.
we sure want access and don't want to lose it. So
Yeah, of course.
it was just struck me when I was reading through the other day.
Of
On
how
the
many
other-
volumes are being digitized.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, thank you.
of course.
Hey, Michelle, just out of curiosity, is there a certain level of security with those books if they're off-cited that has to be maintained with some of the records, or? Is it just kind of general storage? They'd be fine if they were secure and didn't get destroyed.
I think security is pretty important, which is why underground vaults and storage seems like such an ideal place to put them, but also condition. You obviously don't want to store them in a dry or wet area. You don't want them in a, because then the integrity of the documents get
Absolutely.
compromised. So, yeah, there's definitely, you can't just send them off and expect that they'll be taken care of. You kind of have to survey where they're going to be, how they're going to be taken care of.
Right.
Yeah, there'll be a certain level of, a lot of layers of security and location that'll go into it.
Okay, thank you.
I think that's all.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank
Appreciate
you.
the update. Item 7B is an administrative agreement. Randy?
Okay, this is an administrative services agreement with Ranson Financial. Let me enlarge that. For the Yoder Water District project, they would oversee the paperwork, the publications, and then the grant administration that we've received. I believe a $600,000 grant for this $1 million project. And then also if there's any other loan, we'll have to get loans, administration of that, and following all the steps and making sure that we have everything in place. It's something that Ranson kind of specializes in. They do this across the state with a lot of smaller communities, cities, counties. We have a contract with them for the Habit and Yoder Sewer District. So this is just now for the Yoder Water District. And so it's coming as a recommendation to authorize the chair to sign the agreement so we can move forward with the administration of the grants. And I had sent out a request for proposal to a couple agencies that I thought could do this, or they're listed as state agencies or agencies in the state of Kansas that do administration, grant administration, and Ranson was the only one to reply.
Questions? Commissioner Bogner?
If I read that right, you've checked into what they're going to charge and everything, and it, from what I read, that's standard.
Yes.
And I noticed it had a cap on it in some places.
Right,
So-
not to exceed 15,000 for the KDHE paperwork, 10,000 for the rural development apply, and then 5,000 to complete USDA environmental review
So that's the max it could hit.
of theirs.
Yeah.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And it's pretty standard cost
Yeah.
for agencies that do this.
If they just could have had a name that didn't sound like ransom, that would have been
Yeah.
better.
Is there a motion to approve? Commissioner Bogner moves. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Second by Commissioner Parks. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Aye. Motion passed 5-0. Yep. Sorry, I didn't ask for discussion. I didn't assume there was any. Making sure of that. Okay. Moving right along, item 8 is the monthly reports.
Okay, monthly reports in the packet for aging and public transit, appraiser, automotive clerk, community corrections, communications, emergency management, and health department. Wanted to see if there are any questions on anything that was in the reports. And as a reminder, this is kind of about a month behind, so they're reporting. This is, I believe, for the December month, so yeah. It's usually the month behind. So sometimes you'll see things in there that we already know about, or they're kind of a little behind just on the timing of when you get them. Any questions on the reports? Okay. The financial report, this one, I believe at the last meeting, we had kind of at that point through November, there hasn't been a lot of change in here. This still does not have the year-end transfers, some of the transfers that we do to reserves and to cover other items that we hadn't, with capital, hadn't finished and move over to reserves. So there isn't a lot of change in this one yet, but it does show a cash balance that is, and expenditure, especially in the general fund, that is higher than what it will actually, the year will end. Because we still have some of the transfers to do, so. And it'll probably be a couple months before you get, once we finalize month 13, which I believe sometime in February, then, so it'll probably be end of February, early March when you get the true year-end numbers, unaudited year-end numbers, but it'll be a lot closer at that point. Any questions on the financial reports? Some other items I had is received an email yesterday from the chamber. The county has 2 tickets to the State of the City address. It's Wednesday, January 31st from 8 to 9, depending if we have a meeting that day or if you guys, I wanted to see if any commissioners wanted to attend that. We have 2 tickets.
And what was the date?
Wednesday, January 31st, and it's at the Sandhills Event Center.
That's 8 to 9 a.m. or p.m.?
AM.
A.m., okay.
So there probably would be time for, even if we had a meeting, someone to go and maybe just be a few minutes late to this meeting. But just let me know.
Yeah, I mean, being as that's, my district is in Hutchinson, sounds like something that would be good for me to attend.
Okay. All right, if there's anyone else, okay.
I'm kind of the city part of it too.
Okay. And then kind of following that, the next meeting, January 24th is the next scheduled meeting, but I don't believe we would have a quorum based on some other activities and some commissioners being not available that day. So, and I kind of sent an email, but the option would be to have it the next day on the 25th or wait till the 31st. I believe if it's on the 25th, we're still going to be short 1 commissioner. If we do it on the 31st, I think a different commissioner will also be absent. So kind of wanted to see what you guys wanted us to schedule so that Shonda and I can get the agenda and items on the agenda for the right date.
Present time, I wouldn't probably be available until about 10:30 on the 25th.
Okay.
Okay, who's available on the 25th? You? No,
I'll be
okay.
gone.
How about the 31st? Is that the other one? Yes. Okay. Might just need to be the 31st.
Okay, and it looks like that may be it, so we'll have 4 commissioners. Okay. We'll do that. They have it on the 31st. With also the understanding, because of the State of the City, it may start a few minutes late or so, okay. I guess with that, would you rather it start when we just publish it at 9:30? Start 30 minutes late?
That would probably be better,
Okay.
because I don't drive very fast.
If it's like this morning, you won't drive very fast.
You're trying to keep your insurance rates down.
Okay. I wanted to, and I kind of put it in my weekly report, but the courthouse renovation tax credits, just wanted to mention, I'm going to send out the request for proposals. The State Historical Society sent us a certificate allowing the qualifying expenses of $2.9 million. That results in tax credits that we've received of $888,709. So we'll put it out to bid for, there's a list that the state has of interested parties. Also, local banks, local people can bid on this. I don't know what we'll get. Sometimes we get 90% of the tax credits. It may be lower based on the size of this, but either way, it will be money that will be brought back into the county, some fund. And my plan, and I wanted to kind of get your input, was to put the request for proposal out as either the total amount, if there's a big company that wants 800 or whatever the amount is, all those tax credits, or if they want it in increments of about 100,000. That way we don't have people wanting a $20,000 tax credit and we end up having 10 to 20 different ones to have to work with, manage. Wanted to get your guys' thoughts on if you're okay with that or prefer something different.
Past experiences include the CPA firms,
Mm-hmm.
which is a good source. I realize it's more work, but I'm wondering if 50,000 might not be. It's up to the administration, but you know, if you contact the firm, they can split it out correctly among different.
Yeah, if it's a big company, they can buy all the tax credits, and then they can take care of.
Yeah, same way with the 100,000. Right. Okay. Thank you. That'll.
And I could put language that request minimum of 100,000, but still is open if someone wants to give a different proposal, because at the end it'll be brought back to the commission, and the highest value, I guess the greatest percentage, is what you'll probably want to award the tax credits to. All right, I'll try to get that sent out within the next few business days. Then just giving a heads up, study session, I'm going to be working with the chair to set up a study session to talk about landfill methane, the RFPs we received. We have a few of those. We're going to try to schedule a time that SCS can come down and help explain how this would all work, along with Megan, and kind of have a study session. So would you rather have it after a normal meeting or a completely separate day? I know in the past we've kind of gone back and forth.
I would prefer after a meeting.
Okay. So I'll probably try to do one in February. I'll look at meetings in February.
I think it's been working pretty good just to move right into study sessions, because sometimes we have available time after a normal meeting.
Okay. And then I'll also be talking to you, or want to kind of try to set up another meeting or after a meeting to kind of talk about strategic planning, priorities, goal setting of the commission, to kind of help give direction for directors, myself, as we start preparing the 25 budget, and then the 20 and the capital budgets for the future, to kind of see where your priorities are on the money that we do spend and the projects that we get involved with. So I've talked with Wichita State University to kind of see what their cost is. I don't have the cost yet, to see if we did a 3-hour retreat to have that discussion and they would kind of facilitate. I think that would be beneficial to kind of have someone else, kind of a outsider, help facilitate that discussion. They would get background on where we're at, what we've been doing, and kind of help lead a discussion to get some key strategic plans, points, action items, so that it's not just a wish list that gets put on a shelf. It's actual items that staff, myself, and directors will work on for the next probably 2 years, 2 to 3 years. You don't want to go too far out, but it wouldn't be maybe the next 6 months, but it could be 6 months to the next 2 to 3 years. Kind of wanted to get your input on this.
There's obviously a cost related to that, is there not?
Yes.
Is that not something we could compile within-house with the administration that we have? I mean, I understand the reason from having somebody outside, but it seems like we always hire outside firms to do stuff we have people in-house that maybe can do. I don't know. And maybe we can't do that. It'd be better to have a third party. I don't know. I always just wonder that sometimes.
We could do it in-house, yes. I think we could if we had a time. It's just sometimes an
And I know
outsider
everybody's
kinda
stretched. I get that.
Can kind of unbiased, you know,
I understand.
kind of make comments or maybe say things or help have ideas that we hadn't thought of. But yes, we can do it in-house. It was about 3 years ago, I think, that commission met on a Saturday morning, and it was open to the public, but just to talk about what do we want to do for the next year or two. And at that time, that commission, you know, probably 5 to 10 items were listed, like efficiencies, technology, culture, different things we're talking about, and we've worked on all of those. So all of those have probably been met or in process.
Right.
So we could do that same type of thing. This group has not done that yet, this group of 5 commissioners. But Commissioner Freeze and Commissioner Hurst were on the one about 3 years ago. But yeah, we could do that also. We don't. Yeah, I reached out to WSU because I'm part of the local government network, so it's area managers,
Right.
and there's a discounted price, which I don't even know what the price is, for WSU to facilitate those kind of retreats.
Right.
That's why I thought I would at least talk to them to see what they thought, WSU, and then bring it back to you guys.
But the other with the public coming in, that you took just feedback from what they see in the county they'd like to see done as priorities, and then compiled that with what we feel. Is that kind of what?
Well, no one showed up. I mean,
okay. Well, that was. I'm glad.
I mean, it's open to but it's government meetings.
Yeah, I get it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm just curious. Thank you.
But yeah, I mean, I think that would be up to you guys if there's community members and they say, you know, we want this kind of project worked on. It'd be up to you guys to consider that as part of your priorities.
Yeah. Well, it'd be good to hear from them if they show up, but then again, you can't make people come up. So.
But yeah, in a study session type of thing, that's if you want to let them talk, that's completely fine.
Okay. All right, thank you.
Was it worth the money last time? do you
We
think?
we did it in house.
Okay.
But yeah, I think it was worth the time.
Okay.
And it's one of those I would like to see something like that every year.
Oh, I thought you were saying that we had had Wichita. Okay.
No, we didn't contract it out last time.
Okay.
So we can do it in-house. I just kind of brought it to you because, again, sometimes outside facilitators are quicker to the point or can take you.
Have they said anything about cost
No,
or
not yet. Because I told them I let them know I haven't really got approval from you guys, consent to move forward too much, so I haven't asked for the specific price. I wanted to see if there's interest before they spend all their time coming up with that.
You want to bring that back to us if they could? Just give us an
I
estimate.
can, yeah.
If you don't mind, if that's okay, yeah, I'd like to know.
I'd like a number before we decide which direction to go.
I would certainly consider inquiring locally to see if there's someone with experience in facilitation, because a facilitator is kind of a lead person who examines and tries to bring out the people that are participating in that discussion, and their role is really not to suggest anything, is to bring out ideas and thoughts. So if there are, I would certainly not rule out a local facilitator if there is one that's had experience in that,
Okay.
and compare cost.
So, over the years, I've been through a lot of strategic planning, and Randy knows my opinion on them. Generally speaking, it seems like a lot of fluff and not a lot of, content that actually gets implemented. A lot of times you spend too much on some sort of strategic report and it gets filed away in some file cabinet. On the other hand, I do recognize that Randy likes feedback from this group, and we have some new dynamics, and it would be good for us to prioritize for him what our goals are. And so, you know, if it's a nominal fee for 3 hours, it may make some sense. I personally, I don't like all the fluff that they bring sometimes, you know, with the sticky notes and the flip boards, and maybe that's just how you do it. I don't know, but if we could just, you know, focus on something that, you know, usually you can get like a top 3, top 5, and, you know, just give you an idea of where our interests are and our focus is. Let's not overdo it, because that gets wasteful really quick on strategic planning. So it's
I've
my
seen
opinion.
a lot of strategic plans just like that, Daniel, that try to get too broad and encompassing everything, and nothing gets accomplished, and it collects a lot of dust. So I agree.
It feels good when you do it, and it's really energizing, and then everybody gets back to the real world really quick. So, yeah, if it's grounded in a reality, they certainly recognize you work well with feedback and priorities. So.
And I'll come back with a cost estimate and kind of like a scope of how it kind of, you know, how it would work, what it would be, if it would be individual meetings and then a meeting, and kind of how that process works out, so that we could have something beneficial, if that's what you guys want to do.
Sounds like we're in agreement to do it, and we would consider a reasonable cost to facilitate something.
Okay.
If you bring it back.
All right. That's all I have.
Okay.
That's one of those things that an old friend of mine who was very knowledgeable and has passed away now said, if you don't know where you're going, you may already be there.
Yeah. Commission reports, comments. I'm going to start on this side today, Commissioner Whitesell.
You know, I don't have anything this month other than everybody drive safe and stay off the roads if you can. You know, stay away from people if you're sick, and get through the winter and have a good year.
Yep. Thank you. Commissioner Hurst.
Thanks to the Public Works Department on their job, and I'm sure lots of hours. I'm sure other people will comment on that. K96 Corridor meeting is this Friday at noon at the Haven Community Center, and it's going to primarily dwell on rural entrepreneurship coming out of the Kansas Leadership Center meeting that they had. As we go forward in this next year, looking at budgets, I'm going to quote from a Stansberry Research, which I subscribe to. It says, needs are infinite, resources are finite. And I thought that is quite appropriate as we go forward, even in our own lives. And I plan on sending to Representative Sywert and some other legislative people here a request to name a portion of K96 highway starting at mile marker 108 and going to 114, which is in Reno County, to ask for consideration in naming that 6-mile section for the K96 Deadeye Infantry Division, who participated and is still active in the U.S. So.
Thank you, Commissioner Hurst. Commissioner Parks?
I'll pass.
Pass. Commissioner Bogner?
I attended the conservation meeting the other week. A lot of good stuff brought up in that meeting, and a lot about the financial dollars that come to this county through those ag programs. And some things were mentioned on doing something about fire up here east of town. And apparently they're thinking there will be some grants and money available for that. So as we progress, some of that will probably come our way, or, some decisions or some discussion. That's about the only major thing I've been to.
Thank you, Commissioner Bogner. I don't have anything this morning, so we'll move into item 10, which is the annual reorganization of the Board of County Commissioners. Each year we're required to elect a chair and vice chair. Simple rules. We same rules as last year. We'll take nominations on the floor. We'll start with chair. The nomination does not require a second. When all nominations are made, we'll do a vote for chair. Is there a nomination for chair?
I would nominate our Vice Chairman, Randy Parks.
Commissioner Parks for chair. Is there any other nominations? Hearing none. All in favor of Commissioner Parks for chair, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. You're abstaining?
Well, I'll say aye, but it feels
Okay.
kind of weird.
No, you can abstain. Okay. Motion passes 4-0 with one abstention. Congratulations, Commissioner Parks.
Thank you.
Is there a nomination for vice chair?
I'd nominate Don Bogner as vice chair.
Bogner for vice chair. Any other nominations?
I would probably...
Somebody shut his mic off.
I would probably want to decline right now at this time. I've got some extra time-consuming deals at home, and I thank you very much for the confidence, but I'd rather put it off at least a year.
That's fine. I just figured going into an election year, we kind of may have a little stability with that, not knowing outcomes and stuff, so it'll be a good thing.
It's not too hard, is it?
Huh?
Vice chair? It's not too hard.
No. No, maybe some of the chairs will actually show up. I'm kidding. I'm teasing you. Well, I'll leave it to somebody.
Speak from experience.
Yeah.
Well, guys, if that's the way you want it, I guess I'll accept.
Okay. Any other nominations for vice chair? Hearing none. All in favor of Commissioner Bogner for vice chair, say aye.
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 You abstain? Motion passes 4-0.
He didn't abstain, he protested.
Protest noted. Yeah. Congratulations, Commissioner Bogner. Okay, any other business? All right. Congratulations, guys. We'll adjourn the meeting.